Onyx Cave is a small show cave located about 6 miles east of Eureka Springs, Arkansas. The cave was discovered in 1891 and began offering tours in 1893, making it the oldest of the show caves in Arkansas. While not the largest of caves out there, only about 325 feet deep and taking an average of about 45 minutes to explore, it does still have quite a bit of majestic beauty. There's a small stretch here in Onyx Cave known as Boy Scout Cave. We'll show both the entrance here and, of course, on the inside as well. It was used for Boy Scouts back in the day, not currently, to get their spelunking merit badge.
Whoa. Hold on, Daxton, look.
Whoa!
In Branson, Missouri, not too far, there is a 218-foot tall cross, called the Branson Cross, but often referred to as the Cross of the Ozarks. During the World War II era, they were afraid of bombs being coming down and large nuclear fallout, so they actually tried to make Eureka Springs Onyx Cave into one of these fallout shelters, bringing in massive amounts of MREs and water. However, they later learned that caves breathe, and so any radiation that would have been outside would have been breathed into the cave, and so the entire idea was abandoned. But there is some cool things you can see here with some leftover MREs from that era. Now, here's a place in the cave that, I'll admit, made me a bit hungry.
Bigger strips.
Bacon strips.
It's the jewel of any cave, in my opinion. It is cave bacon. Of course, while it looks amazing, it's not the edible kind. It's just a type of flowstone, and pieces tend to be about 10 foot long. Man, 10-foot long bacon. Normal formations of stalactites and stalagmites, formed by the accumulation of minerals, are building up or down. If you ever have a hard time remembering between which is a stalactite and which is a stalagmite, is it the floor or ceiling? Well, a stalactite has to hold on very tight to the ceiling, and a stalagmite needs to be mighty in order to reach it as well. We have to duck through this section here. Oh, Ethan, watch your head.
Oh, I actually have to duck.
You're not that short.
I almost have to duck.
None of those are feeling.
Look, I can just walk. You want to duck your head.
Wait, do I actually have to duck for once?
Yeah, Dad had to duck.
Well, Dad's taller than me.
Oh my gosh, we have to duck.
We have to duck.
I have to kind of crouch. Just barely, actually. I just have to tilt my head down.
I just don't want to drip. Dad, what is this drip over there?
Don't forget about Mr. Onyx here. Of course, our tour guide said he was the model for it, but I believe Mr. Onyx might be prehistorically older than our tour guide.
Now, fun fact, I was actually the model for our caveman right here. It was a pretty bad paying gig. They paid me in rocks.
Those little straws coming down are called soda straws. It takes 100 years for them to grow 1 inch.
Soda straws are another type of stalactite that you can find here in the Onyx Cave. It is one where a high amount of water above will come down in more of a ring shape and cause it to be hollow on the inside. However, it can turn into a stalactite if the bottom gets blocked or if water just gets trapped in the inside and can quickly change its type. And by quickly, I mean over several hundred years, because these grow on average 1/10 of a millimeter a year. Flowstone is another type of stalactite, stalagmite adjacent thing. What it is a flowstone is a sheet-like deposit of calcite over a carbonate material which forms overflowing water over many thousand years. Tends to look like many stalactites coming down. Now, this one here is the elephant. Now, most cave systems, if they have stalactites, stalagmites, will have some formation in there that resembles an elephant, but this one really takes the cake. Here you'll find the fireplace, as it's called. Back in the 70s, they broke out this part so that you could see inside the thing, which is kind of a shame, but some people did get a benefit. They allowed kids during that time to climb through there, and I'm told that even people working here today remember doing that as a youth. In addition, just behind it, you'll be able to see the dragon, which was actually my personal favorite part of it, being the absolute Dungeons and Dragons nerd that I am. Another fun type of drip that is made here is the helicite. Now, this is a cool one because, like a stalactite, it forms from minerals coming down. But unlike one, it curves and changes direction, almost like it was grown in zero gravity, but it's not quite. It gets this, like, nice curly Q thing going on. You can see a few in the little pinched area between the rocks.
You can see two more crawl spaces. Now, our owners have it back here. From what I've been told, this one over here on the right gets super narrow to the point where you just can't crawl through anymore. But they've been all the way through over here. And through some tight spaces and squeezes, a little over than 50 feet, they found a room that is bigger than this with a 15-foot waterfall. I've been told pictures of it are really pretty, and maybe one day we'll open it up to the public, but they'll have to make it a lot bigger than that before I go back there.
Another type of neat formation that was here is a popcorn ceiling. And no, I'm not talking about what you find in the houses, especially back in the 70s. No, this is actually a different type of thing that's also known as a coralloid, which is small, knobby bits from the ceiling, kind of like popcorn kernels. However, in the extreme forms, they can actually form to look like upside down coral above you. The popcorn ceilings are made very similar into the style of the other stalactites, with calcite building up and whatnot, but it actually can also have gypsum, same thing they make drywall out of. Another thing that I found super cool was the part where he takes his UV light, he shined it on a stalagmite, and it glowed even when he took the light off. That was just really awesome. I didn't realize calcite could actually retain the UV lights in order to have it show and be almost a glow in the dark thing. During Prohibition, they actually used this place for bootlegging, and seeing the little chimney hole there, they always assumed that the smoke would go out, but not knowing how caves breathe during the summer and winter cycles, it actually ended up trapping most of the smoke inside, which you can see here is still staining the walls.
Well, I'll stop here because this is the one part of the cave I'm gonna let you guys touch. If you look right up here, you can see the formation of what many people call moon milk, but I call cave snot because it looks a lot like it. Water seeps through the ground and it mixes with carbon dioxide to create a weak form of carbonic acid. That acid will dissolve some rocks and minerals here and there, in our case, calcite, to create what is pretty much a liquefied form of pure calcite that we see here. That's gonna drip down this wall and land right here where I let you guys touch it. I feel along over here.
Yeah, it's smooth though.
The cave does not contain onyx, but rather flowstone, also known as cave onyx. Like most caves in Arkansas and the greater area around it, it is a limestone cave, but it's actually calcite flowstone that makes formations. They have spots where it's new and being newly formed, and some that are several thousand years old. One thing I did learn during this tour that I thought was extremely interesting was the amount of modern uses for caves worldwide, including the making of cheese because of the consistent temperature, beer, wine, and even storing grapes. Kind of want to find a cave now.
This is a fully formed helictite, and it's also the most active part of our cave. What's happening is our rainwater is seeping through the ground. It takes about 8 to 10 hours to get here, where it's going to drip off from the helictite, land here on our shelf, and then here on our pedestal.
In 1969, there was a movie release that was filmed almost entirely in this cave. It's called It's Alive! With an exclamation mark. It's about a lonely farmer who finds a prehistoric monster hiding in a cave on his land. To feed his newest creature here, the farmer has to, of course, kidnap live people, feed them to the monster, and they obviously try to escape. And we'll say comedy ensues. Mostly the actual acting and cinematography of the movie is what's hilarious. Uh, Interesting watch, not recommended.
So right here, this is the water itself. If I get down here and shine my light,
Oh, that's so cool.
that is a reflection of the roof right above the water. Has anyone seen It's a Lot? Okay, well, personally, I don't recommend it. It was a very cheap movie filmed in the 60s.
Okay.
But what would happen in the movie is that the characters would come down the very stairs you guys just came down, and then the monster would jump out of this water and scare them. I do not want to be that monster, as it is 48 degrees in that water year round. But the dam was built for the movie, and we've left it there ever since.
Now, I know my children would be very upset with me if I didn't take a moment to actually talk about some of the critters that are found in here, both being extreme animal lovers. So, one of the coolest ones, and one we unfortunately didn't get to see, is the bats. It's a white nose syndrome bat, is what's common there. They said it's about the size of a chicken nugget. So, I mean, obviously, if you ever found one, you'd have to name it Nugget. It's just the law of the universe. I don't make these laws. Another critter that we actually did get to see, although tucked away and hidden pretty well, is one of the cave salamanders here. They live in caves all over the place. They can grow anywhere from about 4 to 8 inches long. They have the bright reddish orange color with black spots. They tend to prey on the cave crickets and millipedes that can also be found inside the cave. A little bit later as well, you'll see him use the UV light to show reflections in the stone that are just boldly colorful and beautiful. Bright pinks and purples. It was absolutely amazing, and I'm glad we got to see it that way and not just with the naked eye, which I would have completely missed.
Here, check this out. Shine it on here like so. All of these colors are because of different minerals that are formed right here on this formation.